everyone, welcome to the 500 subscriber special. We're not going to waste any time, we're going to get right in here to it, and we're going to start out with some Claymore blade, and we're going to airbrush this all over this Sentinel, and the Sentinel has been primed with Army Painter Matte Black. Once we're done with the Claymore blade, we're going to come in with some Liquitex white ink, and we're just going to zenithal this guy from the top. And take a little bit of time and apply a lot to his face right there. Just to brighten it up a little bit as a focal point, and then we're going to come in with some Crusader skin, which is going to be one of the very few colors that we actually need to finish this pretty huge model. So we're going to put this around his face, eyes, nose, and mouth, and then second color we're going to use is Purple Alchemy. This goes on really nice. It's a really good color for this miniature. I'm happy with how it turned out. And we're going to start by applying this to the legs of... It's kind of weird to call a figure this big a miniature, but that's what it is. So we'll put it on his legs. Then we're going to move up top. We're going to put it on his arms. We're going to try to pay attention to not get it into the shoulder joint area. There's like a big ball socket underneath of there that we'll come back and paint a different color a little bit later on to break up that. But the purple goes on nice down there around his arms. And the last thing we're going to do is paint his helmet or the top of his head here. And there's a lot of big flat areas that I was kind of worried about this speed paint, but it goes on really well, particularly over top of the metallic undercoat. So you just put it on thick and move it around fairly quickly, and it didn't seem to really pull up or have any problems with it on this. I was really happy with how it turned out. So you'll see it as I'm putting it across the top of the helmet here. It's pretty flat. But like I said, just put it on thick and just move it around, and it dried pretty nice. We're gonna come in here now with this Hive Dweller purple, and like I said, this guy comes together with very few colors. It's essentially 3 colors. So you've got the Crusader skin, the Purple Alchemy, and now this Hive Dweller purple. We start out by putting it on his boots, and we'll just paint it all over down there. Again, a lot of big flat areas, but put it on thick, keep it moving, and it goes on really well. We're going to paint the crotch piece and then the rest of the armor around his torso and chest area, all with this Hive Dweller purple color. On the back there in the center, he's got some, I guess, boosters or some other robot looking pieces. It's a big robot, but we're going to keep that not purple and come back with some gray later on and cover that up. Like I said, just keep working it around. It's a really big miniature. It's a lot of surfaces to paint with this. The shoulders, again, big flat areas, but just put it on. It looks kind of streaky when it goes in, but it dries nice and even. There's a lot of nice texture on the hand and the fingers and the joints and stuff like that, where the speed paint can really settle down inside of there, and you see a lot of nice contrast around the knuckle joints and stuff. And 3 colors in, this guy's looking pretty good. We're going to take some dark wood and we're going to give a little bit of love to the base. So we'll just put this on thick. There's a lot of nice texture down there on the base, on this, I guess, rubble or whatever he's standing on. We're going to make kind of like a shattered earth. And yeah, just one thick coat of dark wood down there, and it's going to pull in nicely. Don't put it over top of the numerical thing down there on that number 2. We'll come back and get that a little bit later. Here's where we're going to take some Gravelord Gray, and we're going to put this on nice and thick along those back panels there, along his spine, along these jetpack areas, and then we're going to do the tops of his shoulders and those ball sockets underneath his arms that I was talking about. And he's going to have a little bit of, I guess, like venting or joints. If you paint a Space Marine for 40k, you know what I'm talking about, the venting in the knee joints or the elbow joints. This guy's got some of that stuff too, and we're going to put that Gravelord Gray on top of those areas there as well. Around his neck here, he's got We're going to call it like a big mechanical turtleneck. We're going to paint that guy black too. There's that venting I was talking about in his elbow, and then he's got some in the back of his knee. So we let that dry, and he's looking pretty good. Remember this, because if this part here fails, it's going to be hard to go back to it. We're going to go back to the airbrush, and we're going to apply some white ink around the area in his hand there where he's got like the laser coming from. So we're going to put some around there, and put it on his chest here a little bit. This is where we really go for it. We're going to put some around his eyes on both sides, and then his backhand also. And we're going to try and do a little bit of like object source lighting to show where his hands are going to have the laser there. So we're going to take some blood red first. We're going to start with the eyes. Again, speed paint through the airbrush. I don't have inks to do this with outside of white. We're going to take some fire giant orange, try and light up his hand there, a little bit around his other hand, and then on his chest. This is where we really go for it. We come in with a little bit of Zealot Yellow, and I tell you what, wet blending speed paint with the brush is pretty easy. With an airbrush, not so much. Kind of blows around everywhere. But it worked out okay. We'll take some Claymore blade, and we're going to paint the Roman numeral number 2 on the base. And then we're going to put some more speed paint over top of that, because the speed paint over the metallics just works out so well. So we'll take the Zealot Yellow and put it on there nice and thick, especially so it falls down into that Roman numeral number 2, and you get this nice gold or bronze color over top of the base. And the model is purple. If someone could let me know in the comments why they made him purple. I don't think he's an anti-hero. We're going to say he's a villain, so we're going to give him a red lip around his base. And that's pretty much the last thing that we have to do with this big guy. And I think he turned out pretty nice. Like I said, essentially 4 colors on this, you know, the 2 purples, the skin tone, and then the brown for the base. You don't have to do the orange and red around the hands and the eyes if you don't want to. But here we're just going to take him, we're going to put him in with the rest of the figures, and you can see the scale. The other 2, I let my daughter paint one, and then I painted the other one. We'll get those in there pretty soon once we finish them up. But here you can see him with everyone else. I want to thank everyone for subscribing to the channel. Like and comment down below. And I will see everyone in the next video.